had to stop my job that I was doing because I realized that it drew me away from fashion.
To give enough time for crypto, a lot of them have disposable income. That's why they're there in the first place, to figure out what they could do with disposable income with their portfolios.
I didn't even know anything like that. I didn't even know I could make money from my music.
Really? Until when?
Until 2 years ago. I looked out for grants and I'm like, do something like grants. I applied for it and then they called me and I got it and I'm like, okay. As a creative, just don't stop.
What's up, everybody? I'm Maseo. Welcome to another episode of We Them Niggas. And this past summer, I traveled to Africa for the first time, specifically to Lagos and Abuja, Nigeria. This journey was all about connecting with the incredible members of our We Them media community and deepening our partnership with Creative Alchemy, a community deeply aligned with our mission to bring artists, Nigerian communities, and African communities broadly on chain.
I think the clap is fun. But what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Today I'm here with Gneric, founding member, community member, early member of Creative Alchemy. How would you describe your role, level of leadership in Creative Alchemy?
So I'm a community member of Creative Alchemy. I met Kushbar and then she kept talking about it, like Creative Alchemy, this is who we are, this is what we do. And she kept talking about Anexia and I'm like, okay, I want to meet Anexia. I was so eager to meet Anexia because of everything I heard from Kushbar about her. And when she told me about the community, I'm like, okay, I need to be a part of this because I loved the idea. I loved every single part of it. And I just felt like I needed to be a part of it. And so that's how I got involved. And I got added to the group chats. And I was seeing all the activities going on and I'm like, okay, this is cool. Because I found out about Web3 a couple of weeks. I've been in crypto for a while. I've known about crypto for a while, but I did not know there was something called Web3. So I had found out about Web3 a couple of weeks before I met Kushbar, which was in, I think, February, March, right? And then that was when we had the conversation. So when she was talking about Web3, she was talking about the Near protocol. I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy. Because I was living in the studio, and every time I was talking about Web3, nobody was really understanding what I was saying. It felt like I was speaking an alien language and nobody understood. But when I met her and then she was also talking about the Web3 Near protocol, I'm like, okay, great. This is actually something. And when she told me about the Creative Alchemy and the entire vision behind it, I was like, okay, I have to be here. So that's why I got involved.
Oh, well, I appreciate you ran into that. Yeah. But like, it sounds like beyond that, like I know you're also a fashion designer. You spend time as a battle rapper. You're a musician. Yeah. You're like well-rounded. What do you feel like right now is your main focus? You would say fashion design. That's right now the completion of your attention.
Yes, actually, fashion and music because I like that. I've always loved fashion, man. I've always loved it. I've always loved the idea of piecing several pieces of outfit together, putting them on and looking really good. So it has always been a part of me. But it's actually been a passion that I became really interested in chasing. Music has always been a part of me. I can't let go of that part of me. So yes, music, but majorly fashion, because I feel like most of the things I've been doing recently, I've been drawn way more to my fashion as before. So yes.
And like, how did you come to find a passion for fashion?
I like that. I had to stop my job that I was doing because I realized that it drew me away from fashion because I was working at a store. It was called Fashion Town. We sold fashion accessories and fabrics and all. So being in that space, I was really in there. That was when I started sewing and then all of that. So I was more connected with fashion then. But then they opened another store and then they were selling drinks and food items. And they needed me to still manage that store along with the fashion store.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, but when I started managing that store, it took me away from that particular fashion environment. So I felt depressed for a while I was working there because I felt incomplete. I loved my job. I was working like tirelessly, but then it got to a point I felt lost. I felt like there's something I'm supposed to be doing and I'm not doing it. And that period, I actually wasn't doing as much music as I should be doing. So I feel all of those are just what it entails for me, that I've always had a passion for fashion. Yeah.
And what about music? Like, where did that inspiration, where did that passion come from?
Music. I've been doing music since I was a child. I literally went to join the choir because I love music. So I've always been doing music. I've always had a passion for music too. And me doing it professionally or even uploading my song on like platforms was just recently. I didn't even know anything like that existed. I didn't even know I could make money from my music
Really? Until when?
until 2 years ago.
I feel like that's crazy. I feel like in America, I feel like every rapper, like that's the whole like premise is that you can make money as a musician.
Oh my God.
So
So I never really had that like mindset of I could make money from my music. It was when I discovered I could make money from my music. I'm like, okay, oh, this is so cool. So I could actually make money from this. But I've always just made music because I loved it. I've always been a writer. So I've just been drawn to it more. It wasn't really about the money. It was when I discovered there was actually money in it. I was like, okay, so I'm not really wasting my time. I thought it was just about doing music and getting signed to a record label. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. And so you mean like you didn't think necessarily that you personally could make money from your music? Is that more so what you mean?
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense to me. I can see that. I feel like the premise that like I could make money from my We Them Niggas podcast and do things feels like surreal even now. But I feel like I feel a lot about what's exciting about this Web3 space. You say that like I feel like finding people that want to support you. I feel like you can put your music up anywhere. I feel like, and that's cool. Like my videos on YouTube. But I feel like everybody on YouTube isn't there thinking about whether or not they're going to put like what they're going to do with lots of money. I feel like people in crypto are kind of people that have like they give enough time to crypto. A lot of them have disposable income. That's why they're there in the first place, to figure out like what they can do with disposable income, with their portfolios, how they can invest and stuff like that. So I think it's cool to all of a sudden feel like, even though it feels very casual, you're in front of an audience who's thinking like, what do I do with my money? Which is like the opposite, I feel like, of every other social media platform. I feel like people like see the ads, but they're like not looking for the ads.
Exactly.
Outside of music, do you do a lot of other writing?
I write pieces of how I feel.
Like poetry?
Poetry, yes.
And how long have you been doing that?
I've always been writing. Since my secondary school days, I've been writing.
And who are people that kind of inspire you to start writing poetry?
I think it was the kind of songs I was listening to. Rap, obviously.
Oh.
I listened to Eminem. I listened to Eva Alordiah. She's a female rapper. She's a Nigerian female rapper. Yeah.
Okay. So, what captivated you about her? I don't know anything about her. Who is she?
Her flow. She knows how to flow so good. She's so good at her flows. That's what captivated me to her. And I felt in my spirit, I felt like Eva Alordiah was going to be one of those. She was going to be the first female to win a Grammy.
And?
Well, I don't know what happened with her. She just went MIA for a while. Then she came back again and started doing music. So obviously she took a break to find herself. That was what happened with her. So she came back. But since she came back, I've not really been following her journey and all. But she has been dropping songs again. But you know that thing of there's a buzz about you at this point in time, and then all of a sudden you just, I don't know. I don't know what happened with her, for real. And I never really took out time to go find out because...
That goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's okay though. I don't feel like, I can't really actually think of an artist that I haven't really kept up with. I feel like I'm such like a music nerd. I feel like if I start listening to someone, I feel like there's like bands. I feel like there's like the Wanted, they sang like Glad You Came, but I feel like I feel like there's like artists that I become like somewhat fans of, but I feel like if I become like a real fan of them, then like I know where they're at right now in life. I feel like if they're like not my everyday cup of tea though, then I feel like I'm in the same boat. Do you feel like there was an album in particular that she released that really captivated you?
No, not really. It was just listening to her and every song was just cool for me. But there was not really one project I would say was the thing that really drew me to her.
What about Eminem?
I'm sorry, mama. That was a song.
I never meant to hurt you.
Yeah, that was a song.
Cleaning Out My Closet. That's a good song. I feel like he was really like one of the first rappers that I listened to a lot. I feel like when I was in like middle school, my mom didn't listen to like rap music at all. She was like, rap music, negative. It was like Taylor Swift. It was like whatever like pop country music the radio was playing. I was like, okay, like this is music. And then I just like discovered that was not music. I think the first like rap song I feel like I like heard and was like, what is this? Was like Versace with like Migos and Drake. And I don't know if you know that song, but that was like, I feel like the beginning of me, and the kid in my middle school who showed me Eminem, I feel like didn't expect me to come back in like 2 weeks and know like every Eminem song. And I was like, I didn't know Spotify existed, but here I am. Yeah. I feel like, what was your introduction like to hip hop?
My introduction to hip hop. Thinking about that now. It was Eminem, really. Tupac. My elder brothers loved Tupac, so they were mostly listening to his songs in the house. So that was how I knew about hip hop. And then I loved how rappers were able to say a lot more than people that just sing songs. Because when I listen to rappers, I could hear them addressing something, and I could literally hear them speak their heart about certain things, especially societal norms and a lot of other things. So that was what drew me to hip hop. So that was my introduction to hip hop. Tupac was my introduction to hip hop.
And what about battle rap?
Battle rap. I started battling in To Go. I don't know if you know To Go. It's a social media app of like, it's been a while. We were texting there to battle. We were text battling at that time. From To Go, I got to Facebook. I was text battling on Facebook too. Then I got to Naira Land. I was text battling on Naira Land. Then on Facebook, someone now said, oh, there's a WhatsApp group chat for rappers. They're putting battle rappers together. And then I followed the link. I joined the group chat. And then I started battling on WhatsApp, but we're doing video battles. So you record your rounds. Your opponents will record your rounds. They'll upload it on YouTube. Then people will vote who they feel won that battle. So that was a different phase for me. And then I started going for events after that. Yeah, that was how I got into battle rap. So it was when I got to Facebook and I realized that, oh, there are other battle rappers in other parts of the world. And because people, sometimes you post a bar and they'll say, this guy beat somebody's bar. Like, you stole someone's bar. And I'm like, okay, who are these people they are stealing bars from? And then that was when I now discovered that, okay, there are other battle rappers like considered, like Hitman Holler, like, okay, there's Lux and there's Daylight and there's Tay Rock. And I'm like, okay. And there's Chess. And I'm like, okay, there are other battle rappers and Sizos here just texting each other, putting lines together to just make it sound dope, having the rhyme schemes, the word plays. And at that time, there were criteria actually. If you battle, they'll give points for openers, for closers, for punchlines, for wordplays, for metaphors. It was just a lot.
And do you feel like that experience, like, I don't even, like, how big is, like, the battle rap culture, like, scene here in Nigeria?
Well, the battle rap culture in Nigeria is just up and coming, for real. It has been around for a while, but I feel like right now, this time that we're in right now, it's actually going mainstream now. Yeah. It's still there.
So how did you get hip to it? Like, how did you come to be, like, for website? Like, you feel like you've had, like, a whole battle rap life. Like, how did you get into it? Like, how did that come to be a thing that you were hip to, involved in, like, chasing?
It was just the idea of putting the bars together and seeing people get excited when you say them. Is like saying something smart and something witty and people just get connected to it. So that's how.
How did you even know about it? Like, where did you first see it? Like, you said your older brother showed you, like, Tupac, for example. Is that how you found this as well?
Battle rap? No, that was not how. It was on To Go. I joined a group chat. I joined a rap. So it was rap I was looking for. I got into rap. And then I saw a group chat where people were bashing each other. Basically, like, they were using lines, bars to bash each other. That was how I got into battle rap.
And so do you feel like battle rap was kind of the beginning of you starting to, like, write music then?
Yes, actually. Battle rap was the start.
And how do you feel like your sound and your approach to music has evolved since then? Like, where do you feel like you are now in that journey?
I don't know, really. But I'm just there. I'm just there really doing me. So, yeah.
When's the last time that you were working on music?
Last week.
Okay. And
Day before yesterday. Because I'm writing a song currently, so yeah.
And what's the song about?
It's questions. So most of the songs I've been writing recently are just songs that are expressing my curiosity. I'm questioning a lot of things. I'm questioning what life is. I'm questioning where I am right now. I'm questioning what I'm doing. I'm questioning the country. I'm questioning the world. I'm questioning literally everything. Let's have a lot of questions. I'm wondering if things were not like this, what would it have been? If Adam never had that happen, what would have happened? Where would we have been? If my mom never got married to my dad, what would have happened?
Existential questions. And how are you feeling inside all those questions? Asking all these things. What's feeling pertinent?
I feel lost.
You feel lost?
Yeah.
But what's calling your attention? You're here with us these past several days. You're getting prepped for this event. You're exploring Web3. Like, do you feel like this is the space that you feel like you should be in?
Yeah, actually. This is the space because I like the thinking within this space. I love the community building within this space. I love every single person I've met within this space. I feel like I've met the best people. I've met good people in my life. I've met best people in my life outside Web3. But being in Web3 is a whole different vibe because of the community. The togetherness and the unity that I've seen in Web3 is mind-blowing. And I feel like, yeah, this is where I should be. I think that's one of the things that really drew me when Kushba was telling me about Creative Alchemy. It's just the community mindset, the decentralized mindset, knowing that together is always better. When we do it together, it's always better. So, yeah.
And do you feel like other DAOs have shown you the same experience? Like I know you said you joined some other like online communities as well.
Well, most of the communities, with the media has given me that feeling too, because I know from, I joined Black People of Webcast and then with the media, and then the energy is there, with the media. And
I appreciate you saying that. That's not, I wasn't fishing for compliments, but I appreciate that.
so yeah, and other communities, Experiment 626, yeah, that's the community that actually introduced me to Web3. And every single person that I've met, they have been super amazing. So
And so, like, Experiment 626, you got familiar with through Twitter Spaces, no?
yes.
And so, can you talk a little bit about, like, what that experience was like getting to know, like, Jamie, Girl, and Leo in that community?
Okay, so what?
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. What took me into this whole world that I found myself in right now? It was a Twitter thread that Pastel posted. It was about Spotify and streams and all. So I followed the thread and I'm like, oh, I'm very interested in this. I read the entire thread. I'm like, okay, I'm really interested in this. And then I followed him. I sent him a message. And then he said there was going to be a Spaces later. I should join. So I joined the Spaces and they were talking about artists and how artists can do better, improve in themselves and all. And I was really, really interested in that conversation. Like, okay, I felt like these guys were really literally talking to me because I discovered that I could make money from my music, but I didn't know how to navigate my way around it. And I'm trying to find answers and I've been very inquisitive about how to do, where to go and all of that. And these people it feels like they're more experienced than I am in this field as at this time. So I joined in the conversation and Girl was like, oh, there's a group chat about like to join. I'm like, yeah, of course I like to join. And then I joined the group chat. So that's how I got into the group chat and that was when I found out about Web3. So it was like, the experience is just, it wasn't Web3 that took me there, but I now found myself in Web3 and every single person that I've met there, they've been very helpful. That was one of the things that really pushed me to be really interested in even joining the community because in the Spaces, they were all welcoming. They were ready to answer my questions. I knew I had a lot of questions and Jamie was there to answer, Girl was there to answer, Pastor was there to answer, and they were very patient with me. And they gave me a lot of information and I'm like, oh wow, like people can give out such information with like so easily and it's not like I'm paying them anything to gain this knowledge or anything. And it's like, so yeah, that was how I got into the community.
It's funny. I'm really resistant to getting in Twitter Spaces. Like maybe it's like I'm self-conscious about like speaking, which is like strange, right? But I don't know if that's it. I feel like when I first got into like the music Web3 space, Twitter Spaces is what everybody was doing, trying to sell like NFTs, and I feel like I kind of saw like Twitter Spaces as a way to try and like sell yourself and like or just like sit and talk to people kind of endlessly. And I feel like since then I've been like very avoidant, and I feel like I'm a bit remiss. I feel like I've only been in on like one of the Twitter Spaces that Jamie, Leo, and Girl have done over the last year, and I feel like it was like last year when I was like in DC on my way to another crypto conference, and I was like, oh, it was like I think one of the first ones they even did, and I don't know. I think it's cool to hear you describe that. It's like kind of like your top of funnel experience for Web3. Like, who gets into crypto because of music? I don't know anybody that really got into crypto through music, and I feel like it's cool to think that that's kind of like what this kind of community that Coach Bar and Nessie and you all are creating. I think can kind of facilitate people like that kind of experience, but in an IRL way. So I think it's cool because I feel like I haven't really thought about that as being like what they're doing. We're having those conversations, but they are like expert creatives when it comes to putting stuff on chain. Like they've all made money on chain. They've all been here, more than a year and a half on chain putting stuff. Like, Jamie spent time working for platforms. Leo's collaborated with people that are building platforms. Girl's building her own world. They're all doing like different innovative things beyond just being, musicians per se. And I think it's so dope to like just like see you like saying that's a part of your journey into this space. I think that's, kudos to them. Are there like, do you feel like they've been able to mentor you in terms of like the kinds of things that you put on chain and the kinds of ideas you're having and thinking about bringing to Creative Alchemy now?
Actually, because I know that I've had a whole lot of conversations with them, and being someone that is very inquisitive, I am always asking questions and all. So yeah, I've had a lot of conversations with them, especially creative. I even asked her, I think that was last week, right? Jamie had a space and I had a question about branding in totality. And that's one of the things we've been working on as a community in Creative Alchemy. So they had that space and then I knew I had to jump in there. So I sent a lot of questions to her. And when I got into the space, they were all helpful again. And then, yeah, so in terms of mentorship, yeah.
And what do you
They've
feel
actually
like?
played a huge role. My first grant, actually, I think it was Girl Crash. I messaged her and I'm like, how do you think I can be able to navigate and earn more money from what I do? I'm a musician and I'm a fashion designer, right? And then she was like, oh, look out for grants. And I'm like, is it something like grants? I'm like, in this country, it's exposure that they will give you grants. Okay. She said, I should check Twitter. I should look into links that are being sent into the group chat. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then somebody sent Mint Fund one day. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let me just apply for it and see what will happen. I applied for it and then they called me and I got it. And I'm like, okay, this is really interesting.
And can you explain what Mint Fund is for my audience who maybe don't know?
Oh, yes, Mint Fund, they fund creatives that are coming into Web3 to mint their first NFTs. So they give like 500 USDC to I think about 20 creatives or thereabouts for them to be able to mint their first NFTs.
And is that on like a repeating basis or recurring basis?
Yeah, I think after the time I was on it, they did another one. But since then, they didn't do it for last month and this month. So
I think it's cool. I think that I feel like grants are such a big part of the ecosystem and like even like the optimism, retroactive public goods funding. Like I feel like there's so much. I think it's interesting to see the way in which Web3 kind of rewards you showing up. And I'm curious, as you look at what you wanted to see moving forward, you're talking about branding. What do you feel like the branding for Creative Alchemy looks like moving forward? What do you feel like the impact you want to see your community leave in the space look like?
it's going to be massive. I can already envision the future of Creative Alchemy right now. In the next couple of years, it's going to be way more massive than we are seeing it to be right now because I don't think there's any community like this, like of creatives converging in one space to grow themselves, share information, and bring in more creatives. Building an entire community of creatives, damn.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's the branding of Creative Alchemy and how far it'll go. It's going to blow the mind of the entire world. That's what I believe and that's what I can see.
And how long have you been a community member?
So I joined the community in February. And this
And-
is July. That's February, March, April, May, June, July. This is my 5th month, actually.
And so what's it been like being a part of the community for 5 months now? Like, what's your experience? What's your review? What do you feel like? Where have you seen that momentum? Have you seen it grow? What's it look like?
Yeah, I've seen it grow. I've seen more people come in. I've seen more activities happen. I've seen more people become more interested and have better understanding of what the community is. That the community is not like it's about one person. It's about every single person within the community. And whatever happens in the community affects everyone. And whatever decision everyone makes within the community affects everyone. So, yeah, I've seen growth within these 5 months.
And I guess beyond the people in the room, who are some of the friends that you made through being in the community?
I've met Benny, Seth, Tinella, Eno. Okay, bio is here. I can't mention bio. So
Yeah, but what kinds of things do they do? Like share this about the community. Like, who are the people that come to mind for you? Like, what do they do?
they're all musicians. And Seth is also, okay, Tinella is a producer. She's a musical artist. We call her Queen of Jazz.
Queen of Jazz, yeah.
Yeah. Seth is a musician. He's also a fashion stylist. He does fashion illustrations too. And he's a fine artist, basically. Oh, I'm VCT too. I didn't mention VCT. I didn't mention Tams. Oh my God. These are also amazing people that I've met in the space. Benny is a musician. He's a rapper who is having a project right now. I've mentioned Tinella. I've mentioned Seth. And Tams is a rapper. And I'll call her a community manager because she does it so well. How many times, right? That's what they do.
I like that. And do you feel like
And Eno is a is a social media manager and is also a musician.
And I was going to ask, like, as you're seeing the community evolve, what kinds of questions are you asking about what it looks like to continue to be in the community that's growing and, like, that aspires to be decentralized? Like you said, you're always asking questions, like, what do you feel like it looks like to see this community evolve at the social level? Not so much at, like, we're building a brand, a company kind of level, but, like, yeah.
Well, I feel like more engagement, more of the creatives that are currently in the community, for them to engage more with the community and share more with the community, because I feel like the only way we're all going to grow beyond this point as a community right now, beyond the brand or beyond passing a message out to the world, or even beyond bringing more creatives in, is the communication within the community right now. I feel like if more of the creatives are more engaging, that's it for me.
I mean, you mean engaging with one another?
With the community, basically.
And so, like, tomorrow's an event we're going to be doing, engage them. But what do you see, like, future programming? What kind of programming do you want to see?
For tomorrow or
Just
beyond.
moving forward. What does the ideal engagement look like to you? What do you feel like Creative Alchemy is missing in the world of engagement right now?
I feel like our socials, basically.
Like social media?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the same, honestly. I feel like for me, the media, I feel like right now I have like maybe 50 episodes, you could say, recorded, and like 3 of them are on social media. And I feel
Oh my
like,
God.
yeah, it's like not good. I feel like I'm very unprofessional about certain things. I'll get to that thing later. And I feel like I'm like starting to be more present to like how important it is to just kind of put systems in place. To think like, okay, we're going to have like social media posts, like, what should they look like? How do people do social media posts? Who should edit my social media posts? But I feel like excited to have so much content because I feel like once I do set up like social media, you can like schedule posts and stuff like that. I feel like I won't need to like give it all my attention. And I feel like when I first started my podcast, I was doing like interviews once a week and then trying to edit it and then trying to like put out an article and then trying to get it clipped for social media and thinking like this is how I'll like keep up. But like I feel like it's so unsustainable. So I feel like it's cool that you have community members like I who are out here making killer video content. I think, there's going to be so much takeaway from tomorrow alone. I know you have done other events, and I'm definitely keen to see how you all document what you're doing as you continue to move forward here. Are there any other things that you're excited about on the horizon, whether it comes to music, Web3, fashion?
Yeah, there's so many things I'm excited about. I'm excited about the journey, basically, generally. That's just all I'm excited about.
Are there goals you have for the rest of the year personally?
Yes, I have goals. I'm going to be officially launching Vibes on Styles this year. That's my fashion business, my fashion brand, Vibes on Styles. So that's just one of it. And also my EP I'm working on. I'm going to be dropping it this year. So those are the things that I'm looking forward to.
And Vibes on Styles, what has it been like getting it ready to launch?
It's been amazing because a lot of things have been falling into place, and I'm just letting things happen the way they should.
I like that. And being in this interview, you kind of said that you're feeling lost. It sounds like you're just kind of working your way through a number of things right now. It sounds like you're managing a couple of different things, but it sounds like you have your head on in like the right direction. It sounds like you have things that you're excited about. I feel like some people don't even feel like they're doing things they're excited about. I think it's awesome that you're ready to drop your EP. You're getting ready to launch Vibes on Styles. That Creative Alchemy is positioned to be, it seems like one of the biggest creative communities here in the country. And I think that's super exciting. I think in the Web3 space, like you said, there's so few. And so even just like one of the biggest in the Web3 music space, I'm like, okay, in the Web3 creative space, like I'm super pumped to see where you all take your community. And yeah, very, very eager to see what the next 6 months, let alone the next year looks like for you in terms of music, in terms of starting your clothing brand, but also like, I think this whole community. Are there any closing words you want to say to my audience?
I don't have much to say, just that Masiri is a very, very amazing person, for sure. Should I give a rundown of how I met you?
Oh yeah, go for it.
So Masiri is a very amazing person, right? I got into the community and I felt very welcome. I didn't feel left out. Immediately I hopped into the call. Masiri was already ready to give me a platform to like speak. Oh, where are you from? What do you do? And all of that. And yeah.
You weren't ready for that, huh?
I wasn't really ready for it, but then I still had to speak anyway. So yeah, Masiri is a very amazing person, and you guys should also look out for Creative Alchemy in this space, because Creative Alchemy is here now, and yes, we're going to be doing more amazing things as a community. So yeah. That's just it.
I'm curious. You say you're a big question asker. Any questions that you have for me? Having like seen what I've been doing and seeing me here, like in space with me, or any things that you're curious about?
Yeah, I'm curious. What level of impact do you feel like your project would have in a couple of months to come?
In a couple of months to come, I think it's really cool to hear you talk about like your experience with Experiment 626, with Jamie, with Leo, with Girl. I think like I'm really excited to be top of funnel for people. I feel like right now people find me very like probably at a conference or like at a music adjacent event, maybe like wherever I happen to be at that given point in time. But I feel like most people aren't like seeing my podcast like this as like their first exposure to a conversation about Web3. And I would say I'm really excited to just be a place where people can go and see like 40 different black people, people of color, talking about, you know, how they got into this space and what they're doing and why, and like just really turn on that light bulb for people. I think if that's 100 people, like I feel like I'll be so excited. If like 10 people show up to my community calls, I'll be thrilled. You know, like if one person becomes like one of my close friends in the long term, I feel like I've succeeded. So I feel like I'm just really excited to see how the community grows and like, you know, how the universe and God favor us. You know, over the last year, seeing the community calls grow from like 3, 4 people at a time to like maybe sometimes now between a solid 9 to 7 to 14 people. Like, to me, like I've been doing my community call for just over a year now, and like there's weeks where it was just me, and there's weeks where it's like 3 people, and there's weeks where it's the same 2 people, and it's like that's okay. But it's so cool to see new faces that like want to keep coming back. Because I feel like there were weeks where people are asking me like, "What are we even doing here?" And I'm like still figuring that out. And so I think just like I said, like, helping people like Anexi was saying yesterday, that creating a space for people to feel like they belong is so important. I feel like I'm so behind that, and I feel like especially for like young men, I feel like that's such a big thing for me. Is like creating a space where young men feel like they can belong and explore their creativity and find themselves. I feel like I'm just really excited to see how this community continues to expand and how we support like more young men of color in finding like safe space and finding supportive space and finding space to define themselves and how they want to express themselves and help them figure out how they can participate in this new evolving world of tech. And like you said, like it's not just there's tech going, it's what's going on in the world, what's going on in my country, what's going on in my family, what's going on with my friends, like with my girlfriend. I feel like it's like there's so many layers to life.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to be a space people can like come and find out that we can talk about anything.
Wow, that's really amazing. That's going to be a whole lot of impacts for real. Because like, people always make reference to you like, oh, I saw that. And it was Marcel.
Oh, I'm crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've been trying to do different things. I feel like you say the Black People at Warpcast group chat. I was trying to be very active on there for a while. I was like, oh, there's meme coins on here. Let's help people learn about how to make money off the meme coins. Like my mom lost money on the meme coins. I did not do the best job of that, but I think it's cool that like even like I was saying about my community calls, my community call attendance almost doubled because I made that group chat. And like I'm like barely on Warpcast now, but I feel like it's just been a vehicle like for us to connect. I feel like I'm like, who are these Black people on Warpcast like that I haven't met? And I think it's been cool, especially like going to conferences, meeting new people, and adding them. And I feel like is Warpcast the best place for the group chat? Probably not long term. But I think it's just been cool to experiment and find, especially people on the more technical side of Web3 that are people of color who are kind of thinking about what's going on there. And I don't know. I feel like, am I all over the place? I feel like if I'm all over the place now, I can't like wait to see what people are saying in a few months. Like you're saying, like that's not
Yeah.
even like my experience of myself. Like I feel like I'm at all these conferences, but I feel like sometimes I'm not. I feel like I'm not doing enough on the internet. I feel like there's no social media presence. Like
Presence.
Twitter is like me retweeting stuff that I see with my personal account, and I'm like, that's not how this should be. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm excited to lean more into like having community goals and to refining our branding, to like figuring out what it looks like to be a DAO. Really starting to ask for help. I feel like I struggle to ask for help, and that's what it looks like.
What do you have in mind to do to change that? So what are the plans do you have in place to expand your community and obviously get those help you desire to get the questions? Because I feel like if you're in that space, you'll be able to ask more questions
Mm.
about these things. So what do you think you have to do to ensure that more people are giving you more helping hands in all of this?
I think tonight on the call, since I got here, Daniel was saying it would make a big difference if we were to be defining community goals. I feel like my goals have just been like I want to build this portfolio podcast. I want to find people in the interview. I want to meet more Black people in the space. Like what should the community goals be? Like 6 months ago, it was like 3 of us on a call, and like it's just me with a podcast, and Julian's kind of like, what is crypto? And Dan's kind of like, who are you? And I feel like I don't really know like where to start with either of you, but I feel like over the last several months, I've gotten to know both of them a lot better. Like, between Julian getting to come to like FarCon and Eat Denver with me, and us working on those projects together, it's like really being here with Dan in person like, over the last like 2 weeks. I feel like that's been so special. I feel like there's probably like maybe one other person that's heard me talk as much about media as he has, and so I feel like just like him saying if we just set our goals together, this could be a very different thing. I feel like that's gonna make the biggest difference. I feel like we're going to start doing office hours. We're going to do like 3 hours a week at the very least, where it's just he, Julian, and I sitting there working through tasks, thinking about how we can expand into being endowed, thinking about incentives, thinking about how we can support our community members more, like really a lot more intentionally, things like that. I feel like when what we're doing is like immediately supporting you, like I feel like it's easier for people to give their time to it because they know it's going to get back. Right now, it's just defining those things and making sure that I'm being more disciplined with my time and organized and structured with my time and just communicative when I'm like not on top of things I know I could be on top of. But I'm very excited. I feel like I said to be here and finally get to connect with Dan in person. I'm like so thrilled.
That's amazing. So I think that's all my questions right now.
I appreciate you asking me questions. So you're a very curious person, so I want to see what it'll be like to be on the other end. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody listening to this podcast. Do you have any words you want to say to other creatives out there?
Just keep creating. Don't stop creating, because that's the truest form of freedom. For real. I know most times I feel so lost. The couple of weeks I've been feeling very lost. That's why I have a lot of questions in my mind. But amidst feeling lost, there's still, the days I feel lost, I'm still able to find my way back because of my crafts, because of creativity, because I'm able to write a song about how I feel, and then those questions begin to clear up from my head bit by bit. And when I have another question, I still have a song to write about it, and then I begin to gain clarity. So don't stop creating. That's just it. If you're a musician, if you're a fashion designer, if you're a carpenter, you're anything, even a developer, like, just don't stop. Because the moment you stop, that's when there's a problem. Because if you stop, you're not stopping for anyone. We're all on a journey, and I feel like we're all on a path. Individually, we're all in this together, but alone in this together. So everyone is on their own track. If you stop, you're not stopping for anyone. There's nobody behind you. There's nobody in front of you. Nobody's going to come push you. Yeah, people are going to try to assist you to get you out of that state of being stuck. But you just have to remember that you're on that lonely road, and you have to keep traveling. You have to keep going. So if you're creating anything as a creative, just don't stop. Just keep going.
And you know, let my audience know where they can find you online.
Yeah, you can find me. I'm more active on Twitter as Gneric Vibes. That's Gneric without the first E, GNERIC VIBES. That's Gneric Vibes. I'm Gneric Vibes everywhere, basically. On YouTube, on Spotify. I'm just Gneric on Spotify without the vibes. On Instagram, I'm Gneric Vibes there too. So yeah, that's where you can find me. You can find me on Farcaster too. Gneric Vibes on Farcaster also. On all Gneric Vibes also. Even on Favor. I think I'm Gneric Vibes everywhere. Aside YouTube. Aside Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning into the episode of Women Niggas. I'm super excited to be here in community with the Creative Alchemy community, to be here in community with Black people thinking critically about the future, about technology, about what we can do as creatives, experimenting with technology. And I hope that you come join us online or in person sometime soon. Peace. And I like to say booyah. So 3, 2, 1, booyah.
Booyah.